Hey Julie, what you been up to today?
Hmm. You really want to know what I've been doing all day?
Yeah,
Like, give me the play-by-play?
yeah, let me know what it's like in a day of the life of Julie
Ah,
Rowe.
well, you would pick a Tuesday.
Was there something wrong with
uh,
Tuesdays?
my day starts early. Yes, I woke to my husband kissing me goodbye at 4:30 as he left to go to Iowa for work.
Mercy, that's pretty early.
Uh-huh. It's
That's
a
like
long
right
day
at
for
that
him.
time when you still have pretty bad morning breath, I'm guessing.
I don't. I don't know about you. I teaches I could crack a joke like, no, 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 no. I totally freshen up my breath before he leaves, so when I kiss him goodbye, it's nothing but roses.
Except now I want to call Jeff and say, Julie says she doesn't have bad morning breath at 4:30 a.m. What do
Oh,
you say?
seriously. Whatever. The blonde, some has him kiss me goodbye, and then I tried to go back to sleep, but I had been dreaming some pretty intense things last night that had to do kind of mission related stuff. And so I woke up at 4 with that and then fell back asleep just in time for him to kiss me goodbye at 4:30.
Okay,
And then I
pause.
saw,
I can't let
huh?
you go too fast. I have to stop and interject and ask things. So,
Oh,
is this a normal occurrence for you to have dreams like that in the evening?
yeah, throughout the night. Uh-huh.
Yeah, throughout the night.
Yeah, I don't always remember them. I usually will get up and go to the bathroom at like 2 and then again around between 4 and 6. This morning it was at 4.
All right, so you're
Um,
you're dreaming. You say it's mission stuff. So
yeah.
anything else you could say about your dream?
Yeah, well, the stuff last night was GTRF related things that I was essentially shown by the spirit, reminded of that I need to do in the coming months as far as places to put supplies, people I need to contact, relationships that I need to, connect other people to, stuff like that. So that was a lot of last night. I had some interesting experiences where I had like memories from pre-mortal that were brought back. I've had them before, but last night for whatever reason I was dreaming of those, and then it was like they were connected to future missions, and so a lot of rescue mission type stuff where I saw myself doing missionary work and then helping other people, um, you know, directing different groups so they can go out and rescue people that are in dire circumstances and stuff like that. So it was a
So,
pretty active night.
well, do you feel like now? I mean, most people when they dream, I would say that it's just their brain is taking over and tying together the themes of things that happened to them during that day. Do you feel like your
Yeah.
dreams are like that, or do you feel like you're actually being given insights and revelation from the other side?
I get both. I mean, sometimes I have stuff where it's just things on my subconscious mind from what I've been working on. Last night was a combination. As I went to bed, it kind of started with that. And then as I woke up to go to the restroom, like around, I think it was probably like around midnight, then, then between like midnight and 2, it was more, um, future stuff. And then after between like 2 and 4, it had to do with a lot of past stuff that I've been through, and then it was like they were tied together towards the end as I started to wake up this morning.
Okay, and so you're starting to recognize by the end of the night that it's not just random jarbled stuff. It's actually stuff
No,
with meaning and purpose.
no. Although admittingly, sometimes I do have dreams that are just random garbled stuff, that you kind of go, "What the heck was that?" That wasn't last night. I've had those though, where you just know it's your subconscious mind processing stuff or dreaming about weird things. And
Uh,
I can tell a difference because I've had
well, and how do
investigator
you
kind
how do you tell that difference? Like, what is there a pattern?
of. Yeah, maybe we could do a podcast on that sometime. This is my way of saying I'm too tired. I don't want to talk about it right now
Fair enough.
because I woke up at 4:30. Anyway, you wanted the day, really?
Yeah, well,
So,
yeah, I
so Jeff
interrupted, so
left.
yeah, continue.
That's all right. That's good. I need to vent this. It's been a long day. So Jeff left, went to work, and then I fell back asleep till about 6. And then I had kind of some spiritual visits, if you will, from an ancestor from the other side of the veil. That went on until about 7:30, and then I had a phone call. I made a phone call to a friend, or they called me. I can't remember now because it's been a long day. But we talked on the phone for a few minutes. I was kind of groggy, so that wasn't a very effective conversation, but it was a nice connection. Then, um, then I took our dogs out. We just got a new puppy a couple weeks ago, and she has to go out between 6 and 7 every morning. And my 3.5-year-old dog always goes out about between 6 and 8. So I took the dogs out, looked at the beautiful sunrise, and just thought about some things. And then I came back in. I was really tired, so I fell back asleep for a while. Then I started making more phone calls. I don't know, sometime between like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and connected with some other friends and other people that are working with GTRF. I had to call the vet because our new puppy gave our 3.5-year-old puppy kennel cough. I had to get my dog into the vet this afternoon. And between, let's see, also, I'm trying to get my son on a mission, as you know, right? So I was doing more stuff with that, trying to call doctors and figure out things like lab work and all that kind of stuff that he has to have.
Gotcha.
Started to pay some bills, but got interrupted because I had about 6 text messages come in between 9 and 10:30. I went into town, which is like 15 minutes from us, and ran a couple errands, and then got cleaned up for the day. I had a bowl of cereal sometime this morning. I don't remember what time that was.
And what
I
kind
think it
was
was
it?
like 8:30. Honey Nut Cheerios? Why do you care what kind it was?
Oh, it's just
But I
interesting.
really like Cocoa Puffs, but they're super bad for you. I really don't. I usually like to have like eggs or something for breakfast, but this morning I just didn't feel like I had to have any of that.
And do you usually just have one bowl of cereal, or do you go back
Yeah,
for a second?
this is important. I had one bowl. I might look like I have two, but I only had one. uh,
Yeah, I'm going to be silent on that. There's
that's
nothing I
smart.
can say in
That's
response.
smart. There's no wind. Do not even comment on that
That's it.
one. Don't touch that one with 10-foot pole. Let's see. I had a doctor appointment this morning that at 10:40, and so I left at 10:20. And my phone, I had some problems with my password not working on my phone about a month ago, and my phone was disabled, as you know. And so I lost my contacts, and today's the first time I've gone to this doctor in 3 months. And so I went to go put the GPS on, and the contact information on my phone was gone. And I didn't have the address because they have like 4 different locations within 10 minutes of us. And so I tried calling the doctor's office, and my phone wouldn't connect. I tried 6 times, and it wouldn't dial up at all. Wouldn't even ring. It kept saying, call canceled. Or call failed, actually. Call failed. And I tried 6 times over the course of 20 minutes, and it would never work for me until the 7th time. I thought that was interesting.
Is
But
this
that,
a normal occurrence for you?
yes. Not every day, but today was one of those fun days where I had a lot of interference with Wi-Fi and with my phone calls and stuff. So I put the address in off the internet. I finally got data. That was the other thing, that my data wasn't working either. So as I was driving away, and I looked outside thinking maybe it was something with the weather, but we had blue skies and it was 93 degrees today. And this morning it was like 80. And so there was no reason that my data shouldn't be working. It wasn't at my house. It was like while I was driving. And so I couldn't find the right address. So then I picked an address that I thought was near where I'd been before, because I kind of remembered where it was, but that happened to be a different location. And I finally got a hold of them, and they gave me the right location, but that made me 10 minutes or 12 minutes late for my appointment. So then they had to reschedule me for a few minutes later. They were still able to get me in, but it was a little hectic because I felt bad that I was late. I hate that. That's how my day started. So I had that appointment from 11 to 11:30. I got home at 10 minutes to noon, and I started doing energy sessions at noon. And those are 40-minute sessions that usually go, 40 minutes to an hour, depending on the client.
And was that a good experience for you?
It was amazing. It was great. It helps to keep my house clear, and it was good. Lots of nice people I got to talk to. In between that, I checked on my kids, made sure they'd gotten up and had breakfast, and I have all teenagers, so, at that point they were just getting out of bed because I let them sleep in because I wasn't home, and I did sessions until 3:00. In between all my sessions, I made phone calls for DTRF. So in the 10 to 20 minutes in between, I was responding to text messages, emails, and making phone calls and replying to phone calls. And so literally there wasn't a minute to spare in my day until 3:00. And then I finally grabbed a bite to eat. I'm trying to remember what I had. Oh yeah, I had a brownie and I had a sandwich.
Now, so this is lunch, or do you call this a snack?
That was my lunch at 3:00. Uh-huh.
Okay.
A snack.
Well, 3:00 isn't exactly lunchtime for most people.
You talking about the other two brownies I ate? Those were snacks. Somebody's trying to get true confessions out of me.
Maybe.
It's making up for that second bowl of cereal times 10.
Right. So you must have been hungry. It's 3:00. You hadn't eaten since 9? So that's 6 hours without any calories.
Yeah. I had water to drink. And also in between there, I was sending loving text messages to my husband because I like to Bitmoji him.
See.
If somebody doesn't know what Bitmoji is. Because he's gone, and so on Tuesdays, so he texted me at 8:30, let me know he'd gotten to his office all right, and that's kind of our standard routine. And I tried to call him, and he tried to call me, but we didn't get to connect because between his work schedule and mine. And at 3:00, from 3:00 to 3:40, I drove into town 15 minutes each way and did 20 minutes of grocery shopping and came home. Because my daughter's having a party tonight, and my other son, one of my sons, is having 4 of his buddies over. So,
all right. So, what kind of things did you pick up at the grocery store? Sorry, I keep focusing on food. It's just where my interests are.
Because it's time for dinner. It was all junk food. It was hot dogs and chips and cookies and stuff for s'mores because they're going to do a bonfire tonight.
That's perfect. That sounds like a summer party for a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah, just a summer. And I actually bought pop, which I don't generally buy, but I did today.
What kind of pop?
For special occasions. Oh, you would ask because I bought Dr. Pepper and get all these judgers telling me I shouldn't drink pop or Dr. Pepper. I bought a liter of Dr. Pepper.
So
I bought 2 root beer and caffeine-free Pepsi.
Watch this hit the internet. Julie Rowe drinks caffeine.
I knew she was a pawn of the devil. I have to laugh at that because I've had half a dozen people to my face or an email tell me that. I'm here to prove them right. I don't know. I'm here to say that I don't drink pop very often, but when I do, I like root beer or Dr. Pepper.
It's all part of the sifting process, Julie. We're just trying to throw it out there. So people who aren't going to believe your message over caffeine, this is your chance to exit.
Well, then they should eat Oreos too. And I'm not vegan because somebody else tried to say I had an underlying vegan message in my books, and I have to say that's not true. I went to Simple Creation for a date night with my husband on Saturday, and we had a rack of ribs, and it was delicious.
Sounds amazing. I love
Anyway,
ribs. I love smoked meat, but I also love vegan lifestyle. We kind of switch back and forth. We love both.
yeah, well, if I were more disciplined, I would probably be eating a lot cleaner. But in the meantime, I really enjoyed my date with my husband on Saturday. And since we are Kansas City and, like kings of the barbecue. But anyway, that was Saturday. We don't need to go back in time. So we're moving forward. Let's see. But we still are. Oh, yeah. Then I ran home and my kids helped me unload the groceries real fast. And then I had 10 minutes to get my dog to the vet for his kennel cough. Took him there. We were there for a half hour. Then I rushed home, checked on my kids, got after them a bit because they hadn't cleaned the house and done the dishes like I told them to. And took the dog out again, played with the puppy for a minute, and then I think I called you. Oh, no. I replied to Keith and several other people on text message. Like, in that amount of time from like 3 to 5, I had like 30 text messages come in, different people, and so I had to reply to some of those, but I haven't gotten back to all of them.
Interesting. Well, and so there it is. That's a day in the life of Julie Rowe. Is this a typical day you just went through?
Sadly, yes. It is. Isn't it exciting? It's almost like it's just like everybody else's life. Oh, boring.
Any supernatural experiences in there?
Well, other than the phone things going on. Oh, and when I called you the first 2 times, I couldn't hear what you were saying, but you think that might be because of your headset or something.
Yeah, my headset is a little messed up. Yeah.
Supernatural. Well, yeah, that visit I had this morning.
Okay.
You forgot about that already because it was such a long day?
I'm just getting lost in the monotony of Julie's Rowe's life. If you had sent something more about like a second or third bowl of cereal, I might have been a little more excited.
Well, I did have a third brownie.
You just admitted that to who knows how many people.
That's all right. They can judge. I go most days with no brownies. My daughter made brownies at like midnight last night, and I woke up to them. You can't do that to me. It's not fair.
Okay, so look at all this dirt that's going to start going around the internet. Julie Rowe drinks caffeine. She's a binge brownie eater at all hours of the day.
It's because I love brownies. Brownies are my ultimate favorite, like, easy, quick dessert. I know they're bad for you, but they taste delicious. And I know I'm not the only one. My bishop, he just got released, but he's like constantly saying, well, for all I do for you guys, if you want to drop brownies off at my house. I never have. I probably should, but he's been released as the bishop now. Speaking of that, did I tell you my husband got called as a second counselor in the bishopric?
You mentioned that. That's good.
That's going to ruffle some feathers.
Why would that ruffle feathers? Let's talk about this for a minute.
I'm sure my husband will love that I'm putting this on a podcast. But if there's one thing people can't do, they can't control Julie Rowe.
Yeah.
They try, Eric. People try.
Yeah, well, you can't tame a wild horse, I guess.
Okay, that's an image right there. That makes me think of the picture that my friend Jason came up with, and it's like this stallion. It's just got like flowing white hair. He said that's like my picture that he has on his phone. Like, that's kind of weird.
That sounds a little angelic. Flowing white hair? That doesn't sound like somebody who eats 3 brownies a day.
No, I know. So when I am able to give up eating 3 brownies a day, I'm going to let the white hair that's growing in by my scalp grow out too. That's my goal. My nail lady said that it looks angelic, like I have a halo. Instead of that I'm just old. I don't know. I'm not convinced. So, anyway, what else do you want to know? Tonight, in about a half hour, my daughter's having 12 of her 13-year-old friends over, and my 18-year-old son's having 4 of his buddies. We're going to be the party house.
And what are you going to be doing? Iowa tonight. What are you going to be doing while the kids are throwing their hot dogs over the flames there?
every once in a while I'm going to show up and I'm going to embarrass my children by saying something weird that they think is weird, like trying to talk to their friends, I'll be like, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. Usually I just end up picking up around the house after all of their messes. I try to kindly say, hey, pick up your mess. But I'm pretty chillax with some of that stuff. I just want them to have fun, and I'll make sure that, they're not burning sticks and lighting bushes on fire and stuff like that. Because their 13-year-old, she's having girls and boys over, like from her school. And so it's going to be pretty calm. We did a party the last day of school and had 26 kids. Tonight's it's just 12 tonight. That's no big deal. They're going to play volleyball. They're going to play some board games. We've got a ping pong table and a pool table, so they'll hang out in the basement and go jump on the trampoline. It's easy. They kind of entertain themselves.
So this is rural Kansas. We're talking about where you live, right?
Yeah, I know. We sound like total hicks.
Does anybody play the banjo? I'm just curious.
What? You play pool? Are you kidding? The banjo? No, but we have a piano in the basement. So some people will probably play the piano. And also, if people want to judge me, I let my kids play video games, just no first shooter games. I gave in and let them play the Star Wars game because I got outvoted by my husband and boys. But we don't do any first shooter games, and we don't do any mature games, and I'm pretty picky about what video games I allow in. But I do let my kids play video games, and I do let them have phones, but that have, like Snapchat and stuff on that. But they have to turn their phones into my room every night.
Oh,
We have
that's
scripture.
nice.
Yeah, we have scripture and prayer at like 9:00, and then they turn their phones in. Sometimes it's 9:30 with the simmer, and sometimes last night it was 10:00 before we actually have scriptures. But yep,
Okay.
that's the excitement of the Rows. What else do you want to know? Give these people some dirt on me.
Well, let's see what comes to mind. I've been thinking about these podcasts a lot lately. What's been on your mind with these podcasts? How do you think it's going?
The podcast, I've had good feedback. I mean, I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing, so I feel good about it. I try not to overthink it. I feel like we get promptings to do certain shows, we do them, and then we move on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I can feel the difference in the energy out there. I've got more people courting into me. And so I have to actively work on that with some of the energy that comes at me. But
All right, so pause there. There's probably a new term for half the people listening here. Courting into you. What does that mean?
it's like CORBING. Well, we establish energetic cords or relationships with people, and they can be positive or negative, and there's a whole spectrum there on the degree of positivity or negativity. And energetically, we all cord to each other.
Everybody cords with everybody?
Well, if you have any interaction with them, and it can be premortal cords, and it can be here on Earth. So you have positive cords. So like with your spouse, you have a cord with them. You have lots of cords with them and one main cord. And hopefully it's a healthy cord. If it's not, then you can ask the Lord to help heal that cord. With negative cords, you can bond over negative things, or you can have negative experiences with somebody, and those create negative cords energetically. And with that, then you can ask the Lord to heal those, and through the atonement, you to redirect those cords, or in some cases, cut those cords. And that is key to my survival.
Really? It makes a difference when you clear or cut those cords?
It makes a huge difference. Otherwise, it's like I get the life sucked right out of me. Yeah.
And these cords, like, how long do they go on forever? Like, if you don't do anything about them? Like, would I have cords with my 5th grade teacher?
Yes.
And so maybe I ought to consider my cords with others and evaluate whether they're healthy or unhealthy.
Yes. And you can heal those cords. If it's somebody that's like in your family that you interact with regularly, especially if there's a negative energy or negative person there, then there's a lot of things you can do to heal those cords, or to, like, you can ask the Lord to hold essentially hold or redirect those cords. And then if you redirect it, all that negative energy goes to him, and he's God, so he can handle it. But that way, they're not like cording into you constantly.
Interesting.
Especially, it's really good for people that have boundary issues or have people that are constantly like taking from them, like. And the thing is it's not even like a lot of the time we don't even know what's going on. We can feel it, but we don't know that's what's happening. And it can be somebody who's clear across the planet from us. There can be people on the other side of the veil that cord in. So there's a lot because energy knows no bounds. So
you,
I actually see the cords with people. So there are times when with my spirit eyes, and sometimes just with my physical eyes, I can actually see the cords coming out of people.
and does it look like light or something, or like a rope?
Depends on what the cord is. They can be different colors. Sometimes they look gray. Sometimes they look chewed up, kind of, or frazzled. Sometimes they look nice and healthy and glowing white, and sometimes they look gold. Sometimes they look really nasty. Sometimes they look black, almost like they're charred because they're dead.
Like frayed rope or something.
Mm-hmm.
What about chains? I'm thinking of scriptural terms like, wrapped by the chains of the adversary.
Those are real too.
Interesting. I'm thinking of another expression, flaxen cords.
I was just going to say that, flaxen cords. So think about this as far as energetic cords. That is exactly what I see with flaxen cords is they'll bind hands and feet, and they'll actually put energetic cords or cording around people. The entities will do that and stuff. So
okay, so it's not like
it's gonna wig people out, but it's the truth. I see it in people all the time.
Well, that's okay. I mean, okay, so it's not like a rope tied around their feet and they can't literally walk. But so what does it mean spiritually?
It's an energetic cord. It's an energy weapon that's being used.
And it's put there by the adversary, like to slow them down spiritually or something.
Right. Or unclean spirits that are working on behalf of the adversary. Same with things like curses and contracts and stuff like that. That's all very real stuff.
That's pretty interesting.
But that gets into deeper things with people. We don't want to make them paranoid. It's just, it's in the scriptures. The scripture talks about it, making covenants with the Lord versus contracts with Satan, or people talk about all the time. You made a deal with the devil. Well, that's real stuff. People did it premortally, and they do it on the earth all the time. But there's ways to clear out that stuff. So through the atonement, you ask the Lord to clear those curses.
Let's flip this. Now I'm thinking of another scriptural expression that says "wrapped in the arms of His love."
Right. So that's exactly what you do.
Do you have visuals with that sort of thing, like the Lord? Yeah.
Sometimes I actually do see Him wrapping His arms around someone, or sending a ministering angel to do the same thing. Or I'll see, symbolically speaking, like a warm blanket being put over someone, or a covering. I will see them healing removing the flaxen cords, or removing the chains and putting, replacing it with light energy. And so they release that dark energy and replace it with light energy. And so, for instance, if I'm doing a session with somebody and I see that in someone, we simply will through prayer, we'll say, in the name of the Savior, please remove this flaxen cord, or remove this negative cord, redirect it to the Lord, to the Savior, and then replace it with love, light, and energy and healthy cords. And I can actually see that change going on in people. Sometimes it can be very immediate. And love, light, and gratitude and truth resonate at very high vibration. And so if you remove something negative, you want to replace it or change it to light energy. And those elements love it. It frees them too. So
isn't that interesting?
Well, this is an exciting day. We went from talking about me eating a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios to talking about flaxen cords. Who thought?
What else can we
Giving people
cover?
All kinds. I like my salt lamp too. I have a salt lamp in my room, and it's a nice mood setter when I want to be romantic with my husband. But also, it is a nice calming effect because the salt lamps can reverse the free radicals and some of the toxins that are in there. So if somebody wants a good idea for instance, our cell phones emit a lot of or like EM spectrum, right? EF spectrum. And so if you have your cell phone on in your room for a lot, then it's a good idea to have a salt lamp, and that can change the positive or negative ion output in your bedrooms.
Interesting.
And I'm on my phone so much that I can sense when I need to turn my light on. I turn it on every day for at least a few hours, but I can sense when the energy is off in my bedroom, and I'll flip that on, and it helps to raise the vibration in my bedroom.
Huh.
It's just a little science. If people studied it, they could Google that. It's pretty basic.
I believe in that stuff. I teach the electromagnetic spectrum in one of my classes, and I find it a fascinating topic. There's so much energy on the electromagnetic spectrum, all the way from gamma rays, which are very small wavelengths, to super high, super big frequencies that are like radio waves that are the size of skyscrapers, and everything in between. And it just baffles me that we only see such a small portion of that, or discern such a small portion of that. It makes me wonder what all this other energy is out there, like in the infrared spectrum or the gamma or ultraviolet.
Right. There's so much that people don't see, right? But there are times like that I can see that around people, like their auras or the sometimes like I'll actually see the energy coming off of them, or I can feel, most of the time I can feel it, but sometimes I'll actually see it, or it'll show up in colors and stuff like that. But the other thing I think a lot of people don't know is because it's all energy, whether it's thought energy, light energy, other physical energy or whatever, we have lots of different things that make up our bodies, right? We have the mental, emotional, spiritual, which is the ethereal, the auric, the cosmic, and then the physical body again. So that's just the few bodies that we know that make up our bodies. And so something I am finding when I'm working with people is they don't realize that, like, for instance, when we go into the tribulations, if you can't get a certain essential oil, for instance, or a certain medication, or you're malnutrition or something, or if there's plague or something like that, you can energetically release those dark energies, and you can energetically transfer light energy into the body at whatever vibration your body needs, and you can energetically transfer essential oils. I do it all the time. Sometimes your body physically needs the oils, but I want people to remember that you can energetically transfer essential oils. You can energetically transfer, if your body needs certain nutrients, and you can command the elements in your body, the excess energies to depart.
Yeah.
Anyways, I do it every day when I do sessions. And if people were to muscle test that and find out like what their levels are, and then transfer them, and then muscle test again, they'll have an example of what I'm talking about.
I think a lot of people hear that stuff and get a little weirded out and stuff. And I used to, but I've come around. And actually, just for anybody who might be in my shoes or where I used to be, I think it might be wise to go read Doctrine and Covenants, section 88. It's one of my favorite chapters of all scripture. And it talks about the light that is in the light of Christ, which is in all things, above all things, through all things, beneath all things. This is a very doctrinal concept, that there's energy in so many different wavelengths and so many frequencies, so many dimensions, and it's constantly around us, and it's all from Christ. It says the light of the moon, the light of the stars, the light of the sun, it's all from Christ. And so I've come to see that these things that you're talking about, even though it might be unusual to people, it's very scriptural, very doctrinal. And it seems to me like mankind is just kind of now tapping into it, starting to understand it,
Right. I appreciate that. Well, one of the things, for instance, there's my dog. My in-laws just showed up. That's the other thing that's happening tonight. My in-laws are coming over to hang out with us, and they're bringing cookies for the party. So I forgot that detail. Grandma and Grandpa are here, so we're going to end this session soon. My dog is excited because they're here. Thank you for saying that. I wanted to make note of this on nutritional lifestyle. Like, we have color deficiencies, sleep deprivation or deficiencies, outside needs, magnetic field issues that go on where our magnetic fields get imbalanced, pH imbalance, malnutritions, and dehydration and stuff. Those are just some of the areas that affect like nutritional lifestyle, and you can energetically balance those. And sometimes you have to physically take care of them, right? You can't just correct a problem overnight. It's layered. But the other thing that keeps coming to my mind is you have physical malnutrition, but you can be spiritually malnutritioned as well. And again, if somebody knows about muscle testing, or if they don't believe me, ask the spirit if you are physically malnutritioned. Ask that question. Ask the spirit if you are spiritually malnutritioned. And if you were to discern correctly, the Lord could tell you, yes, you are, you need to read your scriptures. Or yes, you are, you need to listen to a conference talk. Or yes, you are, you haven't been going to church like you need to. And our spirits can be that fine-tuned.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fascinating.
It is. I believe that.
So,
well,
anyway,
do you need to go get some more brownies with your in-laws there now?
I'm not going to have any more brownies, and I probably won't have any other cookies because I'm sugar-loaded. But I do have to go maybe in another couple minutes because they know that I'm on the phone. I told them how to do a call, so they're good. They'll be here for a little while. But I am going to have some teenagers show up pretty soon, so I should probably, start getting food ready. We're going to be pretty low key here. And then also on my agenda tonight is to call my husband because I miss him, so I'm going to call him tonight.
Okay. Hey, I wonder, Julie, if you might be willing to entertain a little question from one of your podcast listeners.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read this. This is one of our friends, actually. She sent this today. Mm-hmm. She says, okay, I am specifically wanting to know what Julie thinks about false messages being used to cause doubt in a future time. For example, I have felt that I was told by the Spirit more than once, if my family and I strive to be perfectly obedient to every commandment, we would not get the plague. I felt so confident about the truth of this that I testified to my children about the importance of being obedient and told them of what the Spirit had told me. Yet in the back of my mind, I have pondered on the damage that could be done to their testimonies should that not be true. If we all believe that and have faith in that, and it turns out to be a false message by those wanting to destroy faith, I could have been deceived into bearing testimony of something that was never even a true message to begin with. She's just concerned about those messages that come, and, if they don't happen, she's concerned about damaging her children's testimonies,
Right. Well, I think first and foremost, we need to make sure that we're discerning correctly who's talking to us. Mm-hmm. And that can be very tricky because there are, on both sides of the veil, like fake Christ. So they have entities that are assigned to imitate Christ on the other side of the veil, or Joseph Smith, or Moses, or Joseph of Egypt, or Noah, or whoever, right? They have fake messengers on the other side of the veil, and they have lots of them. The more important the calling, or obviously Christ is so critical to the atonement, to the plan. They've got lots of entities who, from the very beginning, have practiced imitating him, but anyone who truly knows Christ will be able to discern who the true Christ is, whether he comes in the flesh or whether he comes in the spirit. Same with any of the other prophets, or same with any other visitor that comes. If you know what your grandma looked like, smelled like, and what it felt like to hug her, or her energy, if you knew your grandma or your grandpa, then when that person comes to you to visit on the other side of the veil and you can sense them, there's no mistaking that it's your grandma or your grandpa. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way with any messenger on this side of the veil or the other. If there's a message that you get, whether it's me saying something or somebody else, we can't live in fear. We have to be proactive. If she really felt like that was a true message, then she has to trust that she told her kids the right thing. I can't speak for her. I don't know what the Lord told her. But then we just leave it to the Lord to handle whatever happens. And maybe she was prompted to say that for a whole entirely different reason than what she thought she was being instructed to do. But I do think it's important to make sure that before we open our mouth, before we say something, that we're sure that it's the right thing and that we're not just saying something that we think is our own belief or our own opinion or our own idea. Mm-hmm. That we're making sure and that we differentiate the two, because I don't do that. Sometimes I speak and I say, well, I believe this or I think this. That's different than me saying, this is my understanding or this is what I know. And I think that's a good point. When people listen to my messages, I hope the audience will go back, like if they've read the books. If I say I saw or something, that's different than me saying I understand. If I said I saw versus I understand or I know, that's an entirely different degree of discernment there. Or when I'm speaking on these podcasts, if I say, well, this is what I see, that's different than me saying this is what I understand or this is what I know. If I say I know, then I've had enough assurances from the Spirit that I know, and I'm not going to say it unless I know. If I say I think or I see, that's me still in the gut trying to get clarity on a revelation.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense? And
Yeah.
I think, and see, here I go again, I say I think, because this is just my opinion right now.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. So you've seen and felt a number of things, and some things are very bright, very sure, and then you have some things you're still working through, still questioning, still processing. So
I'm still learning, right? I have a ton to learn. So if I say I think that's how it goes, I think that's my understanding. I think that makes sense. This is Julie filtering through her logic right now, trying to understand how the Lord works in her life. But I could wake up in 6 months and go, wow, I got that totally wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for sharing this. It's been fun shooting the breeze with you, Julie. And I hope you have fun with your family tonight, and I hope that you save your kids some brownies.
Those are all gone. But they had their share because I only have 3 kids. Aubrey made them last night. Jeff got up and went to work, and he didn't have any unless he took a few this morning, and I didn't know. But it's doubtful. And that means an entire pan of brownies with 1 mom and 3 kids. I think they're fine. I had 3 of them. So. Well,
enjoy your night.
This is going to go down in history in our official records for DTRF that Julie Rowe loves brownies. And also, I just want to say thank you to the people that have sent me letters. I've received several letters in the mail. I'm sorry that I don't have the time or ability to reply to all of your letters, but I do want you to know that I have received them, and they mean a lot to me, and I'm keeping them for my personal records to hang on to, be in a safe place, and stored away to go in, as far as I'm concerned, to go into the millennium. So thank you for adding to my permanent scrapbooks. And also a shout out to those Baby Ruth senders too. We did that podcast, and I actually had people, just one person that sent me a box of Baby Ruth, some wafers, and some Snickers, and put on there not poisoned. Well, hey, I love the humor.
Since you brought it up again, why don't you throw out your address again for those who are thinking about writing you a kind letter right now?
Okay. P.O. Box 895, Ottawa. That's Ottawa, Kansas. KS for anybody that doesn't know. 66067. And those will go in my official Julie Rowe files to be kept here into the millennium. I'm storing them away in a big vault. Not really, but I don't know. They're going to be in my safe house, and we'll put it that way.
There you go. All right, folks, keep those letters coming. And thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good one.